it's me, Allie, and today we're going to be talking about the case with Adnan Syed and Hayman Lee in 1999. So in 1999, Adnan Syed and Hayman Lee were both seniors in Woodland High School in Baltimore, Maryland. They were both 18 years old at this time. They both dated. They had mutual friends. They had to keep the relationship a secret just because it was against Adnan's religion, so he would have gotten in trouble. And then they eventually broke up. They were still friends after, talked all the time, hung out at school. To some people, Adnan seemed fine over the breakup, like a normal person would, and to others, he seemed like he was furious and full of rage. Eventually, Hay started dating someone else named Don, and again, some people said he was fine over that, some people said he wasn't. The day of the murder, Adnan had asked Hay for a ride. She said no because she was busy and she had to pick up her cousin. And then she didn't pick up her cousin, which worried her family because she does everything she says she's gonna do. And Adnan ended up strangling her in the back parking lot of Best Buy and asked this one guy named Jay to help him and give him a ride because they switched cars and phones. Then eventually they abandoned Hay's car and buried her in Lincoln Park behind a tree. About a month later, this guy walked into the same park that they buried Hay. He went about 127 feet into the woods to go to the bathroom, which was pretty weird because he had a history of streaking and going around naked. So it was all weird when we heard that he went that far into the woods. Then he ended up finding the body, called the police, and they investigated him. And depending on who, many people were investigated, like mutual friends and family, and they told different stories depending on how close they were to Adnan or Hay. And yeah. The police and detectives don't have much physical evidence that Adnan had done the crime. Some people think Jay did it. Jay also got high all the time before the crime happened, and he already graduated high school, so he was about a year older than Jay and Hay. So that was a possible suspect. So was the guy that walked into the woods, and obviously Adnan was a suspect. Personally, I think Adnan is guilty because of multiple reasons. So Adnan acted like two different people in front of his friends and family. In front of his family, he was a sweet, innocent guy who followed all the rules of his religion. In front of his friends, he drank, went out, partied, and did all the stuff that was against his religion. Multiple times he told his friends, like Jay, that he wanted to kill Hay. The day of the murder, he left his car and phone with Jay and took Jay's phone and car. He had to keep his and Hay's relationship a secret. A few times he called Hay the devil. When Adnan called Hay the devil, he also said to her that his religion meant everything to him, basically meant his life to him, but yet he was going against it and going out, drinking at parties, dating when he wasn't supposed to. Then his English teacher also said he had a dark side to him from his writing, but she also said that most teenagers seem to have one. When he went to when the police was talking to him, he changed his story once, and then during Hayes' relationship with Adnan, he seemed to be over involved, and this was coming from their mutual friends. And then especially after the breakup, he still seemed to be over involved, just showing up randomly to her friend's house and parties that he wasn't invited to. And then one day an anonymous person called the police saying look at her ex-boyfriend, which is Adnan, and watch out for him, which is kind of suspicious.
A star student, stellar athlete, and scholastic achiever, Hae-Min Lee was on her way to the top. The 18-year-old Woodlawn High School student was popular and well-liked.
I was on the wrestling team last year, and she was one of the assistants, managers. We got it on very well. She was nice student at Woodlawn. Everybody liked her.
Lee was a member of the National Honor Society.
However, many people think Adnan is innocent because there's not enough physical evidence to prove that he's the one who killed Hae. Mainly his friends think he's innocent just because they see the good side of him. And when people were talking to him about Leakin Park, he's like, I never heard of this place before, never heard about it until now. And when Jay was telling the story, he kept changing it. Then after he threw out his clothes, shovel they used to bury Hae, all that kind of stuff that they used, which kind of means he could have done it. But he told police that he did that just because he was involved with burying Hae and he didn't want to get caught. And Jay was also proved to be always high, coming from other friends and mutual friends that they knew. I have a few questions about this crime that I haven't really found out the answers to. First one is, was it more than just a breakup that made Adnan want to kill Hae? Because multiple times he said he wanted to kill Hae. Why did he act like two different people in front of his friends and family? And is there more to the story that we know about that no one has told and the police couldn't find out? And recently in 2016, after a podcast named Serial talking about Adnan's case, he was granted a retrial with his lawyers, and his lawyers asked multiple times for a new trial to prove that he may be actually innocent.
Well, 20 more paces. Okay, it's right back there. So when the police department called me this day, they asked for Phil Bottomeyer. We speak to Phil Bottomeyer, and he said, "Well, we need you at Lincoln Park. There's a body, and we have to measure it and so forth." Then I came out. I was a detective. I think he was a sergeant, and I followed him into the woods. And he's about 20 feet ahead of me. And anyhow, I'm trying to keep up with him. And eventually he crosses this log, and I'm behind him. And then he walks up to this point and stops. And I'm still walking along the edge of the log. And then he says, "Stop! Stop! You're gonna walk on the body. His body's right there." And I look down at the ground, and I'm looking, and I don't know what was going on. I don't see any body. I don't see a body.
I pretty much included on this video as sort of a reference for people who may be following the case of Adnan Syed. He has been granted a new trial in the 1999 murder of Hae-Min Lee. I'm not going to get into my own personal opinion about the case because I just think that this forum here is a place where we don't need to see any more serial debates about this case. They're all over the internet, this is here just for information or reference. So I'm going to show you the exact spot where they found Hae Min Lee's body. Now we're watching this video here on the phone because this gentleman was the surveyor who the police detectives brought in to measure the exact coordinates of where the body was found.